Let's see if the piranha reserve lives up to its name and what kind of piranhas they have here. The line is flat on the surface. There it goes. Red belly. There we go. Whoop. Now, right, you can see why people... I couldn't do that if I didn't have shoes on. You can see why so many people here are missing bits out of their toes. Every one of these is a red belly. I mean, this one's got slight spots on it as well, but that just means it's a juvenile. Again, here we go. There's almost more fish than water. Every single chuck, out comes a red belly piranha. They're not very big, but my goodness, there are just loads of them down here. I've heard all these stories about piranhas being capable of skeletonizing bodies literally within moments or minutes. I've got this freshly killed duck here from the market, and I think it's time to put those stories to the test. It's apparent that the sound, the thrashing of a distressed animal is what attracts them, so I'm just a little bit of movement to start them homing in. Right, they're in there already. I just saw a flash of silver with that, very distinctive red as well. Right, they're starting to arrive now. Once one finds it, basically, that just kicks the whole thing off. Right, look at that, go in the head there. They've already just stripped all the flesh from the spine. Flip this in and have a look. Oh, right. From the back, this didn't look too bad, but actually flip it over the side where the fish were, and they've made a real mess of that. They've actually chewed through a huge expanse of feather to get at the meat, and they've gone right into the body cavity. They've taken most of the meat away. There's a huge section of actually the backbone gone in the neck. The head is just reduced to bone, both eyes are gone, and all this just in a matter of minutes. I started this quest with a tale of a man-eater. Can they really swallow something as big as themselves? I need to resume my hunt for the biggest catfish in the Amazon, the Parasites. But no sooner have I cast into the water when my fishing guide Flavio spots a truly graphic example of over-ambitious Amazon predation.
Oh, loco!
Something that immediately reminds me of the man half swallowed by a fish. We've just seen this Payara floating down the river, quite a big one, still alive. We thought it was dead to start with. On investigation, it's got another one down its throat, and Flavio's just grabbing hold of the tail of it and pulling it out. Here we go. Look at that, here's the tail of another fish.
Again for me.
So this fish almost choked to death on something just, too big to swallow, really. If we can get the other fish out, it might survive, but as it is... Good grief! Size of that, look at that! Just look at... Good grief! Look at the size of the fish that other fish swallowed. So that's the meal, the one that's looking slightly worse for wear. And this is the greedy one that swallowed it, which might now recover. This remarkable act of cannibalism is just as ambitious as the catfish that tried to swallow a man. Maybe in these murky waters, accidentally biting off more than you can chew is a common occurrence.
Oh, loco!
If I ate something that big in relation to me, it would be about the size of a small child or a medium-sized child, sort of an 8-year-old, just, ooh. Some greedy fish in this river. Usually the river monsters I hunt are elusive creatures that are often revered or even protected. But it's a different story here. Culling has started to reduce the number of attacks, and the trap may be my only chance to get my hands on this primeval predator. But that means descending into a cramped concrete cell in the middle of the dam. A cell that could be harbouring hundreds of blood-sucking lampreys. Oh! Ah! I think I just trod on something. Oh, there's a lot around the intake. a lot around there. I can just feel it's soft.
There you go.
Oh yeah. I've just got a knot of lampreys in here, and it's quite a sight. There's something about anything snake-like. It just produces that sort of instinctive, squirmy reaction. I really don't know if I want to handle these. Right, here we go. Oh look, there's one attached to another one there. That's wriggling. Right. Okay. There. Oh, right. Okay. Do we put him in the other net there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. That is a very, very strange sensation. Very strange, and it's looking me right in the eye. That's a good way to calm them down. But I now need to get it off and get it in the. Oh, look at that! It's actually. Oh, I've been bitten by fish before, but I mean that was pretty creepy. There's one. Something just went through my legs. Using their mucus coating and boneless flexibility, these primitive bloodsuckers find it easy to outmaneuver me. Now I'm going face to face, fang to vein, with a real living vampire. And that's a strange feeling. That's a very strange feeling. There's suction, but there's something sharp going on as well. It's really getting stuck in there. Oh. The thing is, if you get these things attached, you're actually going to want to get them off. If you're swimming, you're needing your limbs to keep you afloat, to keep you moving. So what are you going to do? You've got these creatures attaching to you. Do I carry on swimming with maybe more and more attaching, or do I stop swimming, try and get these things off? Easier said than done. Come on. That is hard to get off. That is hard. That is hard to get off. I don't know if there's a mark there or not. Hopefully there's not a big red hole. That feels a bit sore. I mean, these things are like aquatic vampires. I don't think that's an experience I want to repeat. Yeah. I think I've seen and felt enough. It was 7 years ago, and I was helping a friend of mine, a research scientist, with his captive breeding program for Arapaima. His long-term goal is to take the pressure off the wild population, and he needed to capture his fish to pair them up with likely mates. We caught several fish already and weighed and measured them without problem, when I let my guard down. While drawing in a net with an Arapaima trapped inside, this hard-nosed giant turned from fish into missile. From nowhere, I had 100 pounds of solid bone smash into me. Weeks later, a doctor described my injury as similar to the impact of striking the steering column during a car crash. I'm not saying this is some malignant creature that will deliberately hunt and eat you. It doesn't have the mouth for it. But corner one of these beasts and it will launch a preemptive strike. It is this event that makes me believe the Arapaima may be the killer in question. If these fishermen were hunting Arapaima or accidentally caught one in a net, this animal will violently defend itself. Just one thrash connecting with the head is all it would take to knock you unconscious, leaving you at the mercy of the Amazon's scavenging river monsters. I've arrived just as they're preparing to fish one out for their own cooking pot. Bom dia! Eu vou aí. Não. Tudo.
Aqui, vamos tirar pedaço.
Eu sou Jeremy.
Seu nome é meu Alegria.
Alegria, eh?
Alegria.
Seu Alegria, which means happiness, is he's about to try and get an Arapaima out of here. There's a few in here, and He says it's not an easy job. It can be a wee bit interesting. I'm going to ask him if maybe I can help. Tem que ficar de olho assim. There are 30 fish in here, and he says they're just jumping everywhere, and they are just, you know, you're just having to duck. You risk getting hit by the head, and this is about the size of a boxing ring. It's about having, you know, it's like having 30 people coming at you and just having to avoid them. Right, I'm going to have to just prepare myself a little bit. Suddenly, all my old fears from my painful encounter are back. But if I'm going to catch an Arapaima capable of killing a man, then I need to face up to my fear. And if that means getting back into the water with one of these beasts, then that's what I'm going to have to do.
Pula mesmo, eu sou... Pula. É limpo embaixo. Ok.
Oh, just throwing a fish.
Pisou em cima de
Right, esse fundura todo canto, né? Eu vou para lá.
Vai levando
De costa. Ah, this is a bit like a boxing ring. It's about the same size. There's 35 fish in here, nearly as big as I am.
Lá vai o arrastão, mete nessa posição.
Bom. Melhor assim.
Vai levando para lá.
Okay. Taking the net up. It's a simple matter of netting one. But this is exactly what I was doing when I took the full force of an Arapaima headbutt to the chest. And I have been warned that these fish are particularly violent when cornered.
De frente é melhor. Bota o pé direito no churro.
I'm walking forward, which means all the vulnerable bits of my body, you know, a boxer would be covering them up.
Tá beleza.
Okay, that's going well.
Vai começar a pular.
Right, they're going to start jumping any minute, he's saying. Any minute they're going to start jumping.
Opa, furou. Afrouxa.
Okay, we didn't get one. I'm going to have to go through the whole thing again. Knowing what's coming makes the second attempt even more daunting. I'm afraid. Jeremy is afraid, he's saying. I think that is fairly clear to see. Right, he's saying they might be a bit tired this time, so they might... There's no doubt that when cornered or trapped by nets, the Arapaima becomes a formidable force of nature. With the help of these Arapaima farmers, I'm finally holding one of these incredible fish in my arms. Look at that. My fear has been replaced with a new respect. Vamos levantar, we're going to lift it up. Maybe I'm now ready to face an Arapaima on my own. Oh, now we're going to let the head go. We're going to let the head go. This is the... They wanted one to eat. That one was too big. They want to get a smaller one. I think I'm just going to leave them to it.
Okay.
Bon. Never, ever seen anything like that before. All those fish absolutely clean out of the water. You know, I think that just has to be, you know, the evidence that I was looking for. Just imagine the damage a fish could do that had the same solid bone head, but was more than twice the weight. And I have to confess, I haven't given them much thought, because I feel healthy. But recently, crew members have come back from my missions with monstrous stowaways. James was struck down by schistosomiasis caused by a parasitic flatworm. It invaded the blood vessels around his bladder, where it reproduced rapidly, laying thousands of microscopic eggs, which were excreted in the urine. But in some cases, the eggs can get trapped in the body tissues, causing immune reactions and progressive damage to the organs. Luckily, he was diagnosed and treated, and now he's okay. Doctors also discovered that one of our directors, Dominic, had a white blood cell count that had gone through the roof, the result of a roundworm known as strongyloides. A parasitic worm that gets into the lungs, then climbs up the windpipe to be swallowed back down the food pipe into the guts, where it breeds. Here, the worms thread themselves in and out of the gut lining, causing inflammation. They can live in the body undetected for many years, but when the immune system is down, that's when the parasite can strike a deadly blow. Luckily, Dominic was diagnosed early and treated. The thing is, none of the crew members go to all my fishing locations. They rotate on and off, but I go to every single place, so the risk that I'm exposed to is much more than any one of them.
Hello. Hi, Jeremy. Nice to meet you. Come on in. I understand you go paddling around in rivers some of the time.
That is the thing, yes. The people I work with have come back with things. My sort of exposure is many times everybody else. I spent a lot of time in South America, and one place I spent a lot of time, there are floating houses on the water.
Oh, yes.
And everything goes into the water, and that's the water you drink. Although you'll paddle out in a dugout, you'll get your water from the middle, you'll bring it in, you let it settle and all that. And I thought I must have picked up something there because all the local people, whenever they went to get checked, they always had something. I'm thinking the arithmetic is possibly not stacking up in my favour. To see if my travels have left any obvious symptoms, the doctor needs to give me a preliminary physical examination.
Just take a big breath in. Stop and let it right out now, and stop breathing. Okay, breathe normally. So that's all sounds hollow, like it should. That's your lung.
My blood will be tested for signs of infection to see if a parasite has invaded my bloodstream.
Okay.
But that's not all that the doctor wants to test. Right, all I've got to do now is fill that up and that. I guess this is the moment of truth.
You've been to so many countries. I've got lots of results, but we've seen something. A number of parasites. We found some amoebae in the stool, and these are things that can cause amoebic dysentery, a severe diarrhea.
I'm being told that in my body I have a parasitic river monster. It has invaded my intestinal lining and could be quietly attacking my body's cells and devouring them, while creating a protective cyst around itself that is resistant to my body's immune system. Something that could be a ruthless killer is living inside me.
But there are two kinds.
The lab ran an extra test to be sure what type I have.
You've got the much more common harmless kind.
So I'm looking all right, you say, and I'm feeling okay. I mean, is it possible to get rid of that, or is that something you just sort of live with?
Yeah, most people live with it, but if we think it's causing a problem, it's relatively easy to treat with some antibiotics. And I would have been astonished if we didn't find this, given your travel history. A surprisingly clear bill of health, given the number of countries you've been to and the amount of exposure that you've told me about in those various countries.
I feel like I've gotten away by the skin of my teeth from some of the world's deadliest parasites. Here, there is an unusual and regular supply of food. Human corpses. It is the Hindu custom to burn the dead on the banks of the river before consigning their remains to the waters. Pandit Kamlesh Vyas is a leading Hindu cleric and has personal experience of this practice.
They'll burn the funeral pyre, and when the body is even half burned, they'll just push it away or just slide it into the river.
I have got to know this river. I've heard the horror stories, seen the evidence for myself. I've worked out what the Seuss is, what it looks like, and where it lives. The next step is to try and fish one out. That night, nothing stirs. But in the morning, it's in the fast water. Something very powerful on here. Try and relax and keep a bit calm. Gaining a tiny bit of line. Right, the water is flowing this way now. I've got it into the water that's flowing this way. I have been fishing long enough that I've developed a kind of sixth sense. I know when I have a big fish on, and this is a big fish. It's Goonch, no, it's Goonch. There's a lot of line out and some very strong water the other side of it, so the big problem here is that if it gets out of this pool, I am never going to be able to pull this fish back up against this current. Very touch and go, very touch and go. And then it does exactly what I didn't want it to do. Either this fish is gone, or I've got to do something drastic. I'm going to have to go for a swim. I've just hooked a massive fish. Is this the one I'm after? I'm going to have to go for a swim. I don't know what I'm thinking, apart from being desperate not to lose this fish, regardless of my own safety. Wait till it comes up. Wait. Now! That is a serious sized goonch. That is a man-sized animal. That is as big as a person. It is bigger than a lot of people around here. That is a big fish. They do exist, the goonch do exist. 6 foot of muscle behind that mouth, and those teeth are just like shark teeth pointing back. If that got hold of you, there'd be no getting away. After asking around, I get a promising lead about a tiny pool right in the middle of cattle pasture. It's more like a mud puddle. The last place I'd expect to find a river monster. Finally, after 10 days of searching, a giant electric eel is right in front of me. Does that look like just one of these branches, one of these roots? That is an electric eel. It's a big one. Now I've got to work up the nerve to catch it. I'm just making a bit of a trench. From my point of view, it'll be easier to handle if there's some kind of sort of notch that it's in, rather than it's being able to slip and slide all over the place. My normal capture method would be useless in water this shallow, so out goes the rod and in comes a lasso, fitting for cowboy country. Because electric eels don't rely on physical strength, pulling it out of the water shouldn't be that hard. But not getting shocked will be, so protective clothing is essential. We've got a plan. The plan is not so much to sort of go after the head with the noose, but to position that and then get it to go through the noose. Just taking a few deep breaths, because one slip and it could be very nasty indeed. Need to be so focused and so careful about this. An eel this size can deliver a shock of 650 volts. That's enough to stop my heart in seconds. First go, amazing, first go. Electric eels can keep on shocking out of water, but the rubber gloves we're wearing protect us from this. Oh, look at the colours on this thing. These are wonderful. I've got to give it a clean. That is, it's doing a sort of, it looks like a muscle contraction, spasm almost. That's when it's actually shocking. Because electric eels get most of their oxygen from breathing air, they can stay out of water for long periods of time. That's 5'10.5". That's pretty much exactly the same as me. This is exactly the same size as the eel that killed Francisco, the 21-year-old man who died in the tiny pond near Villanova. If I wasn't wearing these rubber gloves, I could be dead too. It's over 100 degrees and I don't want the fish to overheat, so time it went back in the water. The pond may be shallow at the moment, but the rains are not far behind me. The waters will soon rise, giving this eel the freedom to roam once again. My search led me to this tiny drying out puddle. I mean, the water in there is barely 6 inches deep. It's the last place you'd expect to find a river monster, but that's where it was. There's more, there's more, there's more. There's not just this big one. There's, again, it looks like wood, but it started moving. We were watching it, and it looks like there's actually several, but smaller, right in with these roots here. I've just never seen anything like this before. It's like a tangle of bodies. I'm just trying to count the heads. The more I look, the more I see. I was thinking 10 or a dozen. I think there could be 20 down here. But this fish has a different problem. Inside its mouth is a parasitic bloodsucker. Another one here. And that is absolutely engorged with blood. The blood of this poor catfish. This tiny parasite, the Candiru, and this vast predator are both from the mafia-like family of catfish. This is pretty disgusting. I don't know if I can get hold of it because they're very slippery. Need more fingernails. Okay, look, there we go. So there we go, before and after. This one's fed. This one's still lean and hungry. And as I'll find out, it's these small guys you have to watch out for, as this parasite is one of the cruelest catfish I'll meet. There we go. Okay. The Candiru usually targets a big fish as its host, drinking blood from its gills. But occasionally they make mistakes. This has resulted in one of the most infamous legends ever to emerge from the Amazon. A man urinating in the river who has a fish swim up his penis. Yet for one gentleman, this urban myth became reality. Luckily, he was able to make it to this surgery in Manaus, where he was treated by Dr. Anwar Samad.
4 dias. Então,
He'd actually had this fish inside him for 4 days, and the reason there was such a delay was because he actually lived a long way, in the interior, away from the city.
bem dilatado, porque peixe dentro não conseguia urinar.
He had a very, very swollen bladder. He was bleeding, general fever, swollen testicles, generally in a very bad way.
E o peixe caminhou lá dentro, como se tivesse caminhado com as barbatanas, caminhou lá dentro.
The fish wasn't visible. It's got these little sort of spines on the gill flaps, so it was almost like working its way in like that. It would have swum as far as the sphincter, at which point the fish was apparently trying to sort of, gnaw its way out, was actually, instead of just swimming up the urethra, was actually starting to gnaw. So this guy obviously was in a lot of pain.
Quando nós passamos o endoscópio, esse aparelho entra direto no pênis, passamos o endoscópio, percebemos 12 centímetros.
12 centimeters. What was done first of all was that the endoscope was put in the end of his penis into the urethra. The endoscope was equipped with a camera, and this is the actual footage from that operation. They were expecting to find a little fish What they found instead was something that went, you know, almost from the entrance of the urethra all the way back to the sphincter. They're talking about something 5 or 6 inches. So, you know, not exactly a little fish, quite a substantial animal. I decide to throw a net out to see if I can catch one of these critters. Here we go. Ah. This is almost exactly what Silvio described. You know, something going in one direction and just not wanting to come into reverse at all. Look at that, I can actually feel its spines digging in when it does that. It was actually walking using its head. Now imagine that in an orifice. This is a somewhat momentous and possibly delicate occasion. I'm bringing Silvio back to meet his fish. This one. Silvio, esse aqui?
Candiru.
But this is actually the first time since he had the surgery that Silvio has seen this fish, this very fish. Quer pegar assim?
No.
That's it. I just asked Silvio if he would like to handle it, and it very, very definite no. I think once was enough. So maybe if I leave it in my hand. But I'm quite struck by how large it is. É grande, né? Não é peixinho, mas é
grande. Eu pensei que era menor, eu só vi de dentro desse vidro quando o doutor já me mostrou quando eu tava.
You know, he's looking at it now, thinking, you know, I didn't realise it was that big. I thought it was smaller. It really does sort of beg a belief that something of that size could burrow into you. But North Australia's oceans harbour one more killer, and this one could have taken out the entire group. In 2013, a vacationing couple were enjoying a snorkel among the reefs and coral. Suddenly, they were both attacked simultaneously by something invisible in the water. It wasn't bite marks they found, but extensive blistering in the forms of linear welts across her body. I check the date that the incident occurred and discover that November coincides with the start of box jellyfish season. Dr. Jamie Seymour has spent 20 years researching box jellyfish, attempting to understand their behaviour and how their complex venom works. To make anti-venom, he has to collect live samples. It's risky work in 100+ degree heat, handling the planet's deadliest creature. I've never seen a box jellyfish, so I've agreed to help him collect samples from these ghostly killers for the anti-venom lab.
So what you're looking for is, it's a little hard to explain it, but a transparent jellyfish with a set of tentacles.
Right.
There's one right there.
Ah, so it's just a sort of a fuzzy white, but that purple is quite...
The purple's a dead set giveaway, but
yeah.
not all the animals have purple tentacles.
Yeah.
Another one out here.
Yep.
Another one there.
I'm just thinking, you could come down here, hot day, let's just splash through the water, cool off, and you could die, couldn't you? Just need to eat water.
Look, it's in these sorts of conditions, it's not a matter if you could die, it's you will die. I mean, if you're swimming in here and you didn't know what was going on, yeah, you'd die. It's as simple as that.
Oh, what's that, right in the...
Yeah, oh, that's a beauty, actually. That's a cracker. Righto. And you see, so we're literally in sort of knee-deep water here, and
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to see
Yes.
now. You want to be in front of the animal?
Yes.
It's going to take 2 hands.
Yes.
And it'll be a lot heavier than you think.
Right, okay. It's now or never. Time to commit. Oh. Wait a minute. That touched something. Yeah, there's tentacle all over the bell there.
Yep.
All over the bell. After only the briefest of touches, it feels like my skin is on fire. And that was with less than 1/10 of an inch of contact. Yes, it's starting to burn. It's starting to burn. It's dialing up a little bit. I'm starting to think that I might not be up to the job, but I'm determined to try one more time. This is now personal. That one looked, as we got over it, it looked a bit bigger, actually. Okay, it's more or less in a good position, isn't it?
This is a good one, yep.
Done it. I've finally overcome my fear. Now I can get a good look at this deadliest of all killers. It's strange, it doesn't look alive, but it feels alive, but in a very weird way.
That size animal's probably got 7 to 8 tentacles on each corner of the belt. You only need 6 or 7 feet long in an adult to kill somebody. That animal has potential to kill 50 people in under 2 minutes. Well, you've got to remember first up that the venom is a component of several different things. So what you got was the localised pain, which was destruction of cells. So nerve pain there at that point. What will also have happened is another component will have been deposited directly into your circulatory system, in other words, your veins and arteries, and that would have gone straight to your heart. A big box jellyfish, you're stung, it hurts immediately. It's like a red hot knife dragged across your skin. So 0 being no pain, 10 the worst you can imagine. My last trip, I had it about 14.
This is what I use for glass tigerfish, Nile perch, things like that. 80-pound line. So a big shark on here would be very interesting. I might actually just try pulling the bait a little bit. You know, if there's a predator watching, sometimes just a little bit of movement, you know, it's thinking about it, it's thinking, do I want it, don't I want it? But it's got time to think about it. If you move it, suddenly it can be like a reflex. They'll just bang, they'll hit it. Something had a go. Yeah, wait a minute. The balloon is gone. 1, 2, 3. This could be the monster I came here for. Nose is hooked now. This feels a good sized fish. It's running, it's running, it's running. Only a shark in this river runs with this power and speed. But I've got a problem. Oh, wait a minute. What's happened there? Suddenly went slack. Oh, no, that's round something. That's round something. Ah, that is actually snagged. I've already lost one shark to a broken line. I don't want to lose another. I can still feel the fish. If we can go back, Mark. Need to get it off that snag, whatever it is. This is not good. I think we're clear. I think we're clear. Oh, the line is a bit shredded there. Oh, that line is in a bad way. This shark has taken the line round some debris on the bottom, and even though it hasn't gone through, it's very badly frayed. I'm only on about, I don't know, might only be 50% strength on the line. My line is wearing through, but if I try to bring the shark in too quickly, I could lose it. As the hours pass, the shark continues to drag the boat up the river. This is totally not normal in a river. I had a giant stingray on for 2 hours, but we've gone past that. It must be now 2 3/4 now. It's going to show again. That's the dorsal. Oh. Ah! Wait, it's under the boat, it's under the boat. Back, please, back, 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 back. So last, here we go. Right, now absolute concentration. If I say let go, just let go, all right? Okay. The gaff is necessary to hold the head up, but it barely punctures the tough skin. Never had a fight anywhere like that long before. That's almost double the longest fight I had with a freshwater stingray. And those things just glue themselves to the bottom. Wow. The gaff's now out. This bull shark is definitely larger than the last one I caught. We'll keep it alive while the team takes samples, measure it, and insert the acoustic tag. Then get it back into the river. Sharks can't actually pump water over their gills, so I'm wedging the mouth open with a bit of wood and just shoving water in its mouth. Yeah, it's another male bull shark, 9 feet 10 inches long and more than 500 pounds. The biggest fish I've ever caught and one of the largest male bull sharks ever landed. Tags are there, samples taken, parasites, all the rest of it. Very quick operation. But this thing, having been so strong for so long, is now just feeling a bit like I am. So we just need to get it revived. Sharks trigger a primal fear like no other. And even though it's utterly exhausted after fighting with me for nearly 4 hours, This bull shark can still prompt a nervous run for land. Weigh in at about 200 pounds. That's heavier than I am.
Big stone here, big stone! Big stone here!
They sure have the attitude.